Well, hi. We are now in our last full week of the regular legislative session. This is the week of April 13th, 2015. So the main topic that I've been hearing about and that we've been focused on really here in the legislature has been the budget. Last week, actually about 10 days ago, we passed the operating budget. So that runs the various departments of the legislature, and the total budget for operations was $9.3 billion. But we cut about $700 million. So as you can see, we didn't make a huge dent in it, and yet people are feeling it. On Saturday, the Senate passed the capital budget. It was the smallest capital budget since 2001. The overall capital budget was only $1.5 billion. Now that's about $40 million less than the governor had actually recommended. The capital budget funds special projects in each of our districts, usually at the request of constituents. This year, there were no individual projects for legislators for our district. The projects that were approved in the capital budget also had matching federal money, which facilitates the project actually happening, and that was the reason those particular projects were included. What I want you to be aware of is that we do have savings accounts which are going to help us through this time of budget shortfalls. Right now we have two substantial savings accounts. One is the Constitutional Budget Reserve, and in that account we have $10.1 billion. We also have the Statutory Budget Reserve, which is much smaller. It's only about $1.6 billion. This year, because of the low oil prices, we're actually going to have to pull $4 billion out of the $10 billion in the Constitutional Budget Reserve. So you can see just by doing the math that, frankly, the savings accounts aren't going to last that long. It's important that citizens are aware of that because we've made some cuts that I know are painful. And one of those, of course, that I've been hearing a lot about from constituents is in the area of education. I know these cuts are not comfortable, but remember I told you we only cut about $700 million out of that operating budget. Next year, there will be more cuts as well. Right now, in terms of education spending, Alaska, per capita, spends far and away more than any other state in the U.S. If you adjust it for cost of living, only Wyoming spends more on education than Alaska does. And yet, when you look at the outcomes, let's talk about reading, one of the essential skills that people have to achieve in life. Our low-income fourth graders are dead last in fourth grade reading competency. Upper and middle class fourth graders rank 48th out of 50 in reading competency at fourth grade. So great concerns there, especially on my part, because I know that reading is so essential to be a lifelong learner. So that's about what the big issue that's happening here in the legislature. We've got lots of bills happening this last week as well on smaller issues. Film tax credits were repealed by the Senate yesterday. Probably the House will concur. We'll see about that. But keep your eye on things going on, and I'll keep sending out newsletters with more frequency as bills are passing. So thanks very much for joining me today. We're standing outside here. It's a bit chilly in Juneau. Some of the small flowers had been emerging, but I think they're putting on their coats again because it's gotten a little colder. Thanks very much for listening. Bye.